You'll spend 80,000 hours at work. You're here because you want those hours to count. Hi, I'm Zoe Schofield.
And I'm Erica Sosna. A warm welcome to the Career Equation podcast. On this podcast, we take time out from our award-winning careers consultancy to share a game-changing formula to help you solve the sum of your life.
Each week, we and our guests use the career equation to explore their story so far and help them unlock the secrets of a fulfilling career.
Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Career Equation. I am flying solo today because both Zoe and I have been super poorly. And as you can hear, I'm still a little bit scratchy, but I wanted to get on and give you some New Year tips and tools around career success. Today, I want to talk to you about how to define success in your career. Because look, 2025 has landed with all of its tumult and power struggles, war, loss, weather, and the rest. It has really landed in a fairly cataclysmic way. But the new year is often a time for people to reflect on what's gone before and what they want to create. And of course, we're all in that, have I even kept a hold of my New Year's resolution? So for so many people, New Year is a time to make a change. I always find it a real new leaf. I feel like it's really democratic and ecumenical. Anybody can participate in New Year as a new start. And I experience, of course, that there's a flurry of career coaching clients coming my way in January, February, as people start to think really seriously about getting some support to make this change. So today is all about the most fundamental of principles within the career equation, which is, how do I define success for myself? Let's just stop and have a little think about that. How do you define success in your career? Do you have a clear definition, a philosophy, a guiding principle for this is going well or not well? Because we're constantly bombarded with other people's definitions of success. Most commonly, the media and social media is very loud about power and status and bling and traveling the world with total freedom and all of these quite loud points of view about what a successful career should look and feel like. You may also have had quite strong influences from your family. I know that my family, as migrants and families that really value education, had a particular perspective about what success might be measured by and what they felt was worth investing in. Is that true for you? Do you come from a family of doctors, bankers, a family business, insert here, where there's an expectation that you will follow in line with what everybody else has done before? So, whether it's the media having a view, your organization obviously will have a view, your boss will have a view, your peers will have a view, the wider world will have a view about who you are and what's possible for you and what success looks like. It's really worth taking time to just invest in what is the quiet little voice inside of me saying to me about how I define success and what my metrics are. And to what extent are my definitions of success being informed or picked up by or just run by somebody else's agenda? And the times when you tend to know that are when there's a kind of tension inside of yourself, or a physical example of it for, burnout, ill health can be ways of your body saying, I am not in line with the ways that you're driving success right now. Now, at the end of the day, whatever those definitions are, the thing that I'm interested in as a coach is, do they serve you? Do they help you to move towards the things that you want to experience? And over the years, I've now spent 21 years being a career coach, worked with people all over the world, all different backgrounds, different ages and stages, different industries. People tell me over and over again through the career equation process what their definition of success is. And we work together to get really clear around it. And I can tell you that the way that people measure success is very rarely exclusively money, power, status. This is a really important insight if you're a manager or a leader thinking, how can I talk to people about careers right now? We've got a pay freeze, we've got headcount freeze. I can't give them more than what I have. Well, let me tell you that what most of them are asking for is to feel like they are growing and progressing. And money and status is just a way that we keep score on that. But actually, it's the experience of feeling like I'm growing, I'm progressing, what I am doing is worthwhile, that's making them feel successful. So money and power are very common symbols of ways to ways to keep score of success in your career. But in my experience, it's good for you to have a chance to think about actually what is it that I am wanting to measure, create, know of that is meaningful to me. So, of course, like more money or a promotion, they're nice, simple ways to track that you're growing and progressing. And having something to measure definitely helps in goals. I'm a big fan of that. But what I'm mostly interested in is making sure that we measure what really matters to us. So when you think about defining success in your work, thinking about in terms of legacy, in terms of by the end of your life, are you going to say it was brilliant, I made middle management? Or are you going to say it was brilliant that I was able to help lots of people, was able to publish a book, was able to be instrumental in the design and skyline of London? What is it really that makes you come alive? And what is it that you will measure as truly of value? And of course, creating financial stability for your family or financial independence for yourself may well be part of that picture. But usually those two things are to allow you to do something else, to enjoy time with one another, to travel the world, to not be under pressure, to do an 80-hour week, whatever. So really try and go to the experience that you might like to have. And that is your success definition. And of course, over the years, success or definition of success and the metrics itself change. I know that in my own career, early on, I really wanted to write a book. I wanted to be an author. Tick. I did that. I wanted to have a method. Tick. I developed that. I wanted to be known and recognized for doing useful work. And now in my 40s and as a parent, I'm more interested in empowering others with the method, in having the space and time to be able to reflect on and offer commentary around my area of specialism and careers, and also to be available for my son. So those definitions of success will evolve, as you accomplish things, as you go and experience things in the world. We say at Career Matters that a career is a series of choices to explore how do you align your gifts with how you spend time and make money. So remember that there will be a series of choices and a series of definitions of success that will evolve over time as you evolve. But knowing how you define that success is very important, because otherwise we are run by others' definitions of success, and our entire plans, our goals, our execution, how we spend our time, all of those things are run by somebody else's definition because we aren't being conscious about what ours is. To give you an example, about 15 years ago, I was working out in India. I spent 3 months out. It was fantastic, working in lots of schools, colleges, universities, for the British Council, having the chance to talk to young adults, to children, to parents about their definition of success and their career. Now, if any of you are out there in India, you'll know how kind of orthodox and rigid the education system can be. Very rigorous, but not a great deal of space for creative exploration of personal identity. So my work around, you're the hero of your own story. Let's get to know the character that you are. Let's see how they define success. Let's see what their sweet spot and skill set was really, really radical. There were lots of tears in the room, actually, as people started to discover that they had permission to think more broadly than they had allowed themselves about where their career could take them and what their design was, what they were really made for, and having permission to be who they were and to want what they want, perhaps in a family or a cultural and contextual environment that had quite narrow blinkers and perspective about what's allowed, about what roles are, worthwhile, and what direction you should be taking. And for me, that's really why I do the work that I do, because over and over again, I've seen that for people, when you realize what your design is, it's much easier to give yourself permission to go after it and to measure success in relation to your impact within that design. So many of my clients come to me and say, all of my family are X. There's huge pressure for me to be the same. I'm just not built that way. I'm super unhappy. I managed to do my law degree, but I hate law. I want to do something that's out of doors, that's completely not in line with my design. And so the equation is all about helping you to really quickly and precisely identify what's your shape and what's your design, and therefore what are the success factors around that. So a quick recap on that, because then I'm going to give you some other exercises around it. But the equation broadly says there are 4 different things you want to be thinking about when you're thinking about a successful and thriving career. And these are based on thousands of conversations that I've had with people all over the world about what they want to experience in their work. And of course, the world of work has changed lots. We've got a lot more flexibility. We've got a lot more room to play. We've got a lot more agility. But generally speaking, I find that people still really appreciate having clarity and having a method so that they can structure and plan their thoughts about what they're doing. Because it's all very well experiencing that there are loads of choices, that careers can be non-linear, that they can be squiggly. All of that is good stuff. But for most of us, too much choice is overwhelming. A confusing, wiggly path doesn't feel so great. And that actually being able to just organize our thinking in a way that's really conscious is, in my experience, very helpful for my clients. So here are the 4 buckets you want to be thinking about. Number 1, what are the skills and abilities that I want to grow and evolve? What am I naturally good at? And what would I really enjoy getting even better at? Because getting expert at something that brings you joy is a great way to be good at your work and to feel great about yourself. So the first thing is, what are the skills and talents I want to amplify in my career? That's one key anchor for success. The second is, what do I care about? What am I interested in? What gives me energy and joy? Of course, if I'm focusing my attention on the subject matter that energizes me, I'm going to do better than if I am in a subject matter that doesn't. When I started in the civil service fast stream, the first job that was offered to me was police pension. I was a social historian. I had not joined the Home Office to haggle over police pension policy, right? So even in an environment that has lots of interest to you, it's really, there will be things that are more or less interesting, things that give you more or less energy, and things that you will be more or less designed for. So thinking about the subject matters and the ways of being that have you feeling your best. So that could be, I love fashion, I love travel, I love design, I love solving problems, I love being around other people, I love making beautiful, memorable experiences. I love hearing about, I don't know, true crime or psychology, or, what are the subject areas, games that capture your imagination? The third is this question of, how do you measure impact? How are you going to know that your work results in something that you think is worthwhile? And what is it that you track around that? And more, I would encourage people to consider tracking the kind of experiences that you want to have next in the next 12 months as a way of defining your success, rather than thinking about the metrics, the numbers. How much more money am I making? How much more senior am I? How much more tenure do I have? Instead, thinking, what do I want to be able to say that I have done in the last year? So I've, I don't know, run a global project. I've published something of my own. I have spoken at a conference. I have conducted a meeting in Italian. So if you focus on those experiences that make you feel like you're growing and progressing, those are great ways to really be able to keep track of, am I moving forward in a meaningful way? And those need to be aligned to, what is it that I think is worthwhile? Yeah. And then the last piece is what we say, environment makes the difference, by which we mean that if the environment that you're in doesn't support you to really grow and flourish, it's very difficult to do a really great job. So if we're going to be feeling successful, a key component of that is that we're in an environment that supports us to do our best work. Now, that might be being part of a fabulous team. It might be getting a chance to do some really pioneering work. It might be that the work is well funded. It might be that you have a great mentor. It might be that you get to work where and when suits you best, in a way that's thoughtful and collaborative to your team. It might be you get the chance to travel. All of these things are about environment. So giving some thought to what environment helps you do your best work. For me, for example, it's a bit of a combination between, I love interesting and new people. I love that connection and novelty. I love getting out of home and going to other people's work environments and meeting with clients. I actually don't like traveling globally all that much anymore because of my injuries and because I have a family at home that I'm very attached to. But certainly 10 years ago, getting to travel all over the world as a consultant is a dream come true. So what are those things for you? Equally, I really like a kind of comfortable working home environment that's cozy, where the space is beautiful. Even if I go to a co-working space, I want it to be aesthetically enjoyable to be in. I was always very offended by the sort of blue partition boxes in an office. What's that for you? So those are the 4 components. Again, skills, passions, impact, environment. Ask yourself some questions about what success would look like in each of those 4 key areas. So why do I think it's really important that people take time to define success? Well, not least because, as we say at the top of the show, you spend 80,000 hours at work. That's a really long time. It deserves the thought and energy, more time and thought than you put into buying your next car or planning your next holiday or planning your next meal. And yet, remarkably, we sort of trundle through our working life without a great deal of thought and reflection. To me, that's incredibly surprising and a really missed opportunity. And it's why I do the work that I do. And ultimately, it's important to know where you're going because where you look, where you pay attention to, is where you will go. So, in the absence of any clarity about the experience that I'm looking for, or the next milestone or threshold for me, or the ways that I define growth, it's very difficult for me to know if I'm heading towards that thing. It's very difficult for me to make meaningful decisions about what the next choice should look and feel like. It's easy to become very overwhelmed by the range of criteria and options available to you. So if we don't know what we're aiming for, it's really hard to get it. If I take out my sat nav and I don't know where I want to go, how am I going to use that tool? If I go to my sat nav and say beach, then it can find me a beach, but how do we know that it's going to be a beach that I want? Do I want pebbles? Do I want ginormous, wonderful cliffs? Do I want sand? Do I want it to be warm there? Like there are many, many different variables. So again, the more specific that I can get, I want to go to West Wittering Beach, please, the more that my GPS can help. And that's the same with your career. The career equation is a career GPS. It gives you the modality to use your intrinsic knowledge and insight about yourself to confidently navigate the world of work. And if we focus instead of the symbols of success, how much do I have? So, how much further can I go? Instead on the experiences of, for example, I want to be asked for by name. That tells us a lot about your status, power, and significance. I want to be chosen to be on these kinds of projects. I want to have the opportunity to become a real expert in. I want to work alongside people who do A, B, and C. Those things are much, much more within your control, which is important around careers, that you feel as empowered as possible to take action on your own behalf. Getting a promotion is not always within your sphere of influence or even your managers. So really knowing, what are the ways that I'm going to mark the experiences that I could take control of is really good for you. But also it's going to add to your ability to be successful and be seen as successful. Whether you set out that I want to travel this year, I want to learn X, Y, and Z, I want to connect with these kinds of people, I want to learn code or learn a language, I want to design a shop front that people see, I want to produce a notebook that goes into a shop, I want to create something that, an event that people remember for the rest of their lives. Really being clear about what you want to experience and how that's going to feel is a great way to anchor your plans for success. So consider making your next career goal about an experience rather than about status and numbers. And Zoe and I will do a podcast this year very specifically around how to set good quality career goals. And listen, it's just also way more fun, to ask yourself, what should the next chapter contain? Where do I want to take myself? Rather than I must get to this number, which is, a kind of fun sapping way of engaging with your career. So think about those ways to just deepen that connection and insight with what you want. And I'm going to actually give you now a kind of unusual bit of podcasting where I'm going to show you how I help people to tune in using a career visualization, a fairly unusual activity, but a kind of mindful meditation on your work. So you'll want to be in a kind of safe, comfortable, private space to do this. So you might want to pause and find somewhere to settle down. And I'm going to take you through a visualization I use a lot in our program. So I'm going to invite you to sit down somewhere comfortable, to close your eyes, to take a deep breath, to notice your feet on the floor. And as you breathe in, I want you to notice all the activity that's going on above your head. Where is the energy? Because we take this head to all sorts of places with this body and we spend all our time in our head. So just try to notice as you breathe in, is there tension or heat in certain parts of my head? Can I just tune in to what my eyes are doing and feeling, what my skull is doing and feeling, how busy my thoughts are? And now that you've done that, I want you to breathe in some of that energy and activity. And as you breathe out, I want you to imagine moving that energy and activity down through your throat, down into your chest, down into your stomach, and down to your feet on the floor. Let's do that a couple of times. Breathe in and gather all that energy, breathe out, and gently move it down into your body. In, out. Now, as you do that, I want you to imagine that you're sitting in this chair and you're actually in a cinema. It's a darkened room. You're on your own in your seat. You're the only person there. And in front of you, there's a screen with those lovely red velvet curtains. And as you watch, the curtains gently part and the screen flickers to life. And on the screen, you see yourself in a workplace or space. Maybe it's your current work. Maybe it's somewhere completely different that you've never been. Take a chance now to have a good look at it. What do you notice? Who are you with? How are you feeling? What are you doing? And if there's anything that you want to change or shift, you just click and make the change in the picture. Let's take some time to look at what you can see. Who are you with? What are you wearing? What's going on in your space? Notice how you feel about it. And now you're going to take a step beyond that space. You're going to see yourself head out into the world from the space that you're in. Maybe you leave a building. Maybe you're already outside, so you turn left or right and head out onto the path. And as you proceed out into the world, someone starts to edge into view from the other direction. They're walking gently towards you, and you can see that they're smiling. They've got a really warm energy towards you. They're making eye contact. And slowly, you arrive in each other's sphere and you connect. You stop. You say hi. You welcome each other. Who is this person? What are they wearing? What do they look like? And they tell you that they're your career guide. They invite you to sit down somewhere comfortable. And they say they want to have a conversation to support you because they want the very best for you. Now, this is a chance for you to ask them any question about your career direction. Let's ask it and listen to their answer. Feel how much they want to help you shine in the world. And as they're talking, they remind you of a key experience that you want to have in your work this year and offer some thoughts about how you could get it. Take time to hear them. Now they say, it's time to leave, but I have one more thing I'd like to give you before we go. You can come and connect with me anytime that you want. We can work together anytime that you wish, but here's just one little thing. And they take out of their bag or their hand the gift they want to give you that symbolizes the kind of experiences that you're uniquely designed for. Say thank you as you wish. Say goodbye and depart as you wish, holding that gift and knowing that you are looked after. You see yourself on the screen heading off into the distance, and the screen starts to flicker. You feel your bottom on your chair. The curtains slowly close over the screen again. You're in the cinema on your own. You have your feet on the ground. You're hearing my voice. And slowly and gently, you open your eyes. In my work, you are the central character. You are the hero in your story, if you will. And we'll share with you more in future podcasts about this idea of the hero's journey and how it relates to your career adventures. But for now, just consider this. The more that you are able to tune in quietly to the you that lives inside and what they feel about success, the ways they want to grow, the environment they need to flourish in, the more strongly your navigation system will effortlessly take you to the things you want to achieve. So whether it's through an analytical brainstorm of the 4 career components of the equation that I told you about earlier, or whether you're more disposed to a reflection meditation like this, or journaling, getting feedback, anywhere in between those 2 components of the left and right brain that I shared with you today, you are the expert on you and your career. Nobody else will know better than you about what will work, but you need to take the time to get the insight to define success. And when you ask the right questions in any area of life, it's much easier to determine what your next steps would be. When you have a good understanding of your central character, it's so much easier to guide yourself towards the right decisions for that character. And somehow magically in this clarity, the past also comes up to meet you. Over and over again, working one-to-one, working remotely, in person, working in large groups, small groups. I've witnessed thousands of wonderful evolutions when people have that moment where they rediscover who they are, they connect to what they want, and they get that clarity and use it to guide their actions with confidence and joy in their career. So I hope today has been useful and inspiring, and that you'll excuse my slightly snotty nose. But if you'd like to work with either Zoe or I in this way, do check out thecareerequation.com, visit our individuals section, and find out more about the group workshops we run, the digital courses, and of course, our one-to-one coaching. We do often offer a number of free sessions through LinkedIn Live and various other social modalities. So if you haven't already, do join the Career Matters page on LinkedIn or connect with one of us directly there. So until then, I hope this has been an inspiring and engaging way to think about your next steps in 2025. And I really look forward to tuning in and hearing from you soon. Keep solving those career equations.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Career Equation podcast.
Stay connected with us on socials for more career insights, behind-the-scenes moments, and updates on upcoming episodes. And if you'd like to work with us, visit the Career Equation website or click the links in the show notes.
Remember, the Career Equation isn't just a podcast, it's a journey towards unlocking your full potential, enjoying your life, and doing remarkable stuff.
Until next time, keep solving those career equations and pursuing your path to success.
And don't forget to share your thoughts and feedback with us. Your input shapes the future of our show.
Until next time, keep solving those career equations and pursuing your path to success. This is Erica Sosna
And Zoe Schofield. Signing off.